Hello, I'm your superhero critic, and welcome to another heroic review. What do you get when you combine superheroes, nuclear war, one of the best storylines, and giant big blue penises? You get WatchMen, one of the best superhero movies out there. The film begins with one of our heroes, known as the Comedian, watching the news discussing a nuclear war with the Soviet Russians before he is brutally murdered by a shadowed figure and thrown out the window.
It's incredible that someone so unforgettable thinks that I am unforgettable too.
Aw, such beautiful music to die to. Just listen to how soothing it is as our comedian just falls to his death. We go to the vigilante known as Rorschach investigating the comedian's apartment while we hear his inner monologue before jumping to the original Night Owl reminiscing with the new Night Owl. When Night Owl gets home, Rorschach is waiting for him and they begin talking about what's going on.
Maybe someone's picking off costumed heroes.
You don't think that's a little paranoid?
That what they say about me now? Paranoid?
I wouldn't say that he's paranoid, more that he's just looking out for himself. And one of the #1 rules of comic books, never trust anybody. Our two heroes continued their debate about living normal lives, but at the same time being heroes and their past. Jumping to another one of our heroes, Ozymandias, where Night Owl warns him about what happened to the comedian, but is quickly tossed aside as we learn even our hero does not have faith in the being called Dr. Manhattan, who should have the ability to stop all nukes. Back with Rorschach, we hear another overvoiced narration and we see him breaking into the building, keeping Dr. Manhattan. Dear God, man. Just because you are blue abadi abadai does not mean you can walk around with the giant blue dangly bits hanging everywhere. In fact, because it's throughout the entire film, every time he is on screen and his dangly bits are seen, I shall be covering it with a photo of a kitten. Enjoy the cats. Our heroes argue over Manhattan choosing not to do anything.
I see you. I'm not leaving until I've had my say.
Clearly, you are. Spectre and Manhattan discuss the future that Manhattan says he can no longer see and tells her she needs to be with someone she can actually be with as we jump to a date between Spectre and Night Owl as they reminisce. The discussion then turns to Spectre's loneliness within her relationship with the Doctor. And what superhero movie is not complete without a funeral?
Catch the sound of silence And in the
Spectre goes to visit her mother, the original Spectre, and they discuss the whole situation with the comedian as we cut to the Spectre remembering her past in a flashback. We witness the comedian forcing himself onto a battered Spectre. Well, this just took a dark turn. I don't even know if I can make a joke right now, but I'm going to hell. Thankfully, Spectre is saved in time before we go into another flashback, the WatchMen in Vietnam, where we witness just how much of an asshole the comedian was, as he gets into a bar fight with an angry pregnant woman who lets out her rage before he kills her.
Play.
Anh nghĩ kìa em.
Don't.
Con.
We go into yet another flashback where we see just where the division within the team was and what eventually led into their breakup, as well as the comedian breaking up a riot using violent methods. Night Owl wonders what happened to the American dream.
What happened to the American dream? What happened to the American dream? It came true. You're looking at it.
Rorschach goes to Malik's place to interrogate him on why he was at the comedian's funeral, and we go to another flashback of the comedian pouring his heart out to Malik and asking for forgiveness for everything he's ever done. As Rorschach ponders all of the facts, we come into a sex scene that turns into a couple argument.
Are you working in here while we're in bed together?
My work with Adrian's at a critical stage right now. I didn't think it was necessary to...
To what? To what? To tell me which one of you was giving me a pity fuck?
Dude, you are a dick. A big blue dick. Put on some pants! After their spat, Dr. Manhattan teleports the reactor to Antarctica and Spectre makes it clear that they are over.
I don't want that responsibility anymore. He's all yours.
Don't worry, John. She'll be back.
No, she won't.
Spectre goes to Al's place to discuss her problems as Manhattan decides it's time to take things to TV. During his interview, fingers are pointed towards him that every person he meets somehow ends up with cancer, while Al and Spectre are jumped by hoodlums that are quickly getting their ass kicked. Manhattan learns that his ex also has cancer, and blame is pointed towards him till he teleports himself away in anger.
please. If everyone would just go away and leave me alone.
I said, leave me alone!
We jump to yet another flashback, and God, did I think Mask of the Phantasm had a lot of flashbacks. We witness the accident that creates Manhattan to begin with, and we see how his ex deserted him before his accident. We go through a lengthy narration on Manhattan's past and how him and Spectre came to be and his fall to depression. Going to a presidential meeting, we hear that Manhattan has 2 days to find a way to stop nuclear war, or the Soviets will invade Afghanistan. Finally, we jump to Veet, also known as Adrian, who is rambling on about how important he is before he narrowly escapes a murder attempt.
got a poison capsule. Don't bite down, you son of a bitch. Who sent you? I want a name. Give me a name!
And that's why you never trust UPS. Rorschach starts following Al and Spectre around to make sure that they are safe as we jump to another interrogation scene, this time of Moloch, only for Rorschach to find the villain already dead. The cops close in on our vigilante, thinking it's his fault for the murder. Our vigilante still tries to make his escape, but does not last long as he is demasked and sent to jail. During an ironic Rorschach card reading, we learn more about our hero's past and how his mother was an abusive prostitute that everybody knew about.
Listen to me, retard. Hey, you think she'd suck my dick for $1?
Delicious! We delve more into Rorschach's mind as he reveals the reason he became a relentless vigilante as opposed to a hero is because of a little girl's murder that he eventually avenged. In the jailhouse, the inmates quickly learn why they should not fuck with our hero.
Right? That's right. You know, maybe I can give you an autograph, huh? What you say, big boy?
At Al's place, Spectre starts snooping around, finding a lot of Al's superhero toys. The mood changes as Spectre makes advances on him because Al sees what Manhattan can't. Our new couple then decides it's time to suit up again and choose to take Night Owl's plane out for a drive. While on patrol, the two of them come across a burning building and save everyone in time.
Let's go. All right. All set. Is that everyone?
Skipping the next scene of sexy time, we go back to the jailhouse where Rorschach is being taunted by an inmate, and in response, the inmate loses his fingers and his boss saws the guy's arms off because of it. That guy needs a hand. I have no idea why I'm so fucked up in this review today. During the mass jail hysteria, Night Owl and Spectre do what they can to take down criminal after criminal as they help Rorschach escape even though he clearly didn't need their help. When they get back to Al's place, Manhattan is waiting to discuss things with Spectre, while Al and Rorschach discuss what they are going to do about everything. So they go to a bar to investigate bar patrons, learning that the leak was Manhattan's ex-girlfriend, so they head to Adrian's work to investigate more, only to find the obvious truth. On Mars, Spectre does everything she can to convince Manhattan to help stop the war, but to no avail. Manhattan activates all of her memories as they both learn that the comedian was Spectre's father through his rape. She, of course, does not take it so well. Through the new information, Manhattan finally gets the awakening he was looking for, that there can always be a diamond in the rough parts of life. Night Owl and Rorschach head to the Antarctic base of our villain, and the battle begins as Adrian single-handedly takes both of them on with no sweat as they do typical comic book banter. In the process, we learn his plan has already been set in motion to set Manhattan up. Spectre and Manhattan get back to Earth too late and find the city in ruin. The Doctor knows he was set up and heads straight to Adrian's, only for him to walk straight into a setup where Adrian disintegrates him. As he walks away in happiness, Spectre has some words for our villain.
You're such an asshole.
I couldn't have said it any better myself. Our villain, of course, faked his death to set up a counterattack, which doesn't last long as Manhattan reappears and shows our villain he cannot die so easily. Adrian has another trick up his sleeve as the USA and the Soviet Union have combined forces and came to peace to take down our big blue boy. Manhattan surprises everybody and actually agrees with Adrian that Manhattan's death could help keep peace between the world, which of course the other heroes do not agree with, and eventually leads to Rorschach sacrificing himself in order to keep the big secret a secret.
What are you waiting for? Do it. Do it!
Manhattan chooses to leave the planet as Night Owl takes his anger out on Adrian before Owl and Spectre leave the Arctic as well. The movie then jumps to the ending where Spectre confronts her mother about her father, forgiving her in the process, and it alludes that Spectre and Owl will have a relationship. Our film ends with a news reporter being told he can run any story he wants, and he happens to pick up Rorschach's journal. While the movie is lengthy as hell, it does cover a lot of bases, it does transfer a lot of things from the comics, and it's actually a very well put together film. I personally really enjoy WatchMen, other than the fact it's constantly filled with big blue penis. Yes, I will continue to say big blue penis. Why? Because big blue penis. Other than that, next week will be marking my 50th review. So, for this milestone for my career, I have decided I want to cover something I know a lot about and is one of my favorite comic books. However, it is one of the films I was not looking forward to watching, and it did disappoint a lot. The film, of course, I am talking about is